If you have been struggling to get sales from your design work or understanding what you really need to do to make money, I have the workshop for you. On September 23rd, I'm hosting my first ever Profitable Designer Workshop. This 1-day, 3-hour workshop is only $97, but I have a discount for all my podcast listeners. Go to carinagardnercourses.com/profit and put in the code podcast for $50 off. I can't wait to see you more profitable. Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. Recently, we just finished our first accelerated designer workshop. I'm doing one every single month this year. And I was just thinking, this first one was called Design Year 2022. And we really step into the goals and the big dreams that we want to have. And we start to map them out, which is huge, you guys. Because so many people will write down their goals, but then they never really map them out. And that was like what that whole workshop was about. Anyway, it led me to start really thinking about how we have to make mistakes in order to do great things, to do marvelous things, really. And I was thinking about this because, we map out this plan. It's step by step. We come up with the first 5 steps in our goal setting, and we go, okay, this is what we have to do. And I wish that line looked like this straight line between point A and B. It was just like straight across, but it never is. It's like this crazy curve that goes all the way, and you finally get to that point B, and it's like, you've gone over mountains and a valley, and you've hit the ocean a couple of times. There's all these mistakes that are happening, and point A to B never is this like linear straight way to get there. So much of it is really about the journey that's happening as we get there, right? And I was just thinking about that because we'll lay all these plans down to make the things that we need to have happen in our life happen. But almost inevitably along the way, there are all these crazy points, not part of the plan, crazy points that actually make us better people, make us better designers, better business owners, better creatives that we weren't expecting along the way. And the struggles are real, you guys, especially the personal ones that are happening in your life while you're trying to achieve these big dreams. There's just like all these crazy roadblocks that are just in your way, that just aren't allowing you to move forward. It's just, it's so frustrating, okay? I know it. I've been there. And I talked about some of the roadblocks we ran into in that workshop, which, by the way, if you're not part of the accelerated workshop series, like, you are missing out. You are going to want to jump in on that. Anyway, that was an aside. So it is interesting that in order to get to where we need to go, it's those mistakes along the way that actually shape us, that make us more beautiful, that make us stronger, that it's those experiences. I had always set out to own my own little design business, but along the way ended up as a creative director for somebody else's company. I wasn't expecting that, okay? And then at some point left that company and started my own company, right? And then that company did well, but didn't do as well as I thought it would. And so I ended up switching that and doing something else. So it's just all of these things that feel like maybe mistakes. Not that any of those things were mistakes. I look back at those things and I think that was good experience, rough experiences, but good experiences, and they have informed why I have built what I have built today. That the designer I am today, the stuff that I've come out with today, the designs I'm producing today are so much stronger. They're so much stronger because of the criticism, the critiques, the judgment, all the things I went through during those time periods to figure out what was going to work and what was not going to work. In particular, I was thinking about Mini Lou, which I actually still own. We just don't do the physical side of it anymore. We only do the digital side of it at this point. And I was thinking about how before Miniloo, I really considered myself only a designer who could not illustrate. But with the advent of Miniloo, I now consider myself someone who's able to illustrate. Now, would I call myself an illustrator? Probably not. But I do illustrate a lot of things, all of my own artwork from my fabric lines. And I think there was something to that creation. We sold and created so many coloring books, you guys, just so many. But it was a pretty low price point, so my margins were quite small. And while we were probably even better than industry standard, I just knew I wanted more than that, and I spent a lot of time on the business and less on the creation, which you guys know. I'm all about design work and creation and illustration. That's where my heart was. And what I found, though, is that by going through the process of owning that company, I illustrated every day. I had to illustrate so much. We were coming out with so much product. I had to illustrate every day. And it was really a good strengthening of design skills for me, because I learned all kinds of things about production I didn't know, even as a creative director. Things I didn't know then, I learned in my own company. And even more than that, I am unafraid of illustration in the way that I was probably 7 years ago. Just totally unafraid of it. I just really dug in and allowed myself and was willing to take on the identity of someone who was okay with drawing as much as I needed to, wanted to, and producing my own artwork. And so that was really good for me. So was creating another company like that a mistake? I mean, technically, it kind of was, because it took me off the path that I really probably should have been on. But I look back at it and I think that was a mistake worth making, because I learned so much from it. I learned so much about what I wanted. And sometimes, you guys, these mistakes, they teach us more about what we don't want in our lives. And that it taught me I didn't want a physical product company. I knew how to run one at that point because I had helped run two. But I just knew for me that it was not of my interest. I didn't want to do it. I really loved owning a service-based business or owning a digital business. That was closer to my heart. And when you realize what you don't want, it is awesome. You guys, it is the most awesome thing, because suddenly you can check that off your list and you go, you know what? I was cool with that. I'm glad I don't have the glory of that anymore. I don't even care, because all I care about is this. Okay? That's huge, you guys. That gives us clarity. And I have read and seen so many things that say, like, really the number one problem for designers, business owners, anyone who's making decisions is clarity. When we don't have clarity, we can't move forward. We can't make good decisions. So we have to have clarity in our business. When we start wiffle waffling and trying to figure out and being like, well, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, that is when your business stalls. That's when your design work stalls. Okay? When instead you can, and I see this in my design suite program all the time, when you can go, today I am a fabric designer and I am designing patterns, and that is all I'm designing. And I'm going to do that for the next 3 months until I can produce this many collections so I can put them out. Okay? Or today I'm designing SVG files, die cut files. That is all I'm doing. I'm going to do it for the next 3 months. They are going to be beautiful. They're going to be awesome. I'm going to put together a collection of 200 of them. And that is what I'm doing. That is true clarity, you guys. True clarity. Because then you're going to be able to move forward the way you need to and make the decisions that make the most sense. The moment you start being like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing fabric. Oh, or maybe I'm doing die cut. Or maybe I'm doing, like, and you start wiffle waffling back and forth. I don't know if that's a real word, you guys. Just making it up as I go. But when you're going back and forth, that is when you get stuck. That's when overwhelm sets in. That's when you stop making and doing. And the truth is, you should be always making and doing. Okay? Especially if you're one of my designers. We should be always making and doing. When we're making and doing, we are moving the needle in our design businesses. And that's what I want for you. That's how we make money. That's how we create financial freedom. That's how we prove to ourselves the identity that we want to be, which is a designer, okay? Those things only happen when we take action. And the only way to take action is to have clarity. And that's why mistakes are such an important part of the overall business that you are trying to create. So don't get upset if you make a mistake. Don't get upset if you put something out that feels like a mistake, especially designers who are like, we're outputting so much stuff. You're like, that wasn't good enough. You look back in a year and all of it's not going to be good enough, you guys. It just isn't. Because 1 year from now, you are a different designer than the designer you are today, which is a good thing, a really good thing. Okay. So make those mistakes, just keep in action, keep moving forward, and you're going to be able to do it. Okay. So excited to see so many of you in the next design boot camp, or in one of my design boot camp replays, or in my accelerated designer workshop series. It is seriously, it's going to be such a good year. We have workbooks for everybody. It's really, really good stuff. And I believe at the time of airing this, we haven't done our Illustrator Whiz workshop, which is coming out January 27th. We're doing a whole day with me learning Illustrator. It's going to be such a great day. It's just live training, really talking about Illustrator, how we use it. We're going to learn how to make something. And while doing that, we're going to learn all the different pieces and components. So if you're brand new to Illustrator or you've never done Illustrator before, that workshop is going to be clutch for you. So you should come join me for that. You can find all of that information at carinagardnercourses.com. And I think I have links to all those things there. Okay? Can't wait to see you guys. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.